Gotta go hard on this one. Don't let nobody deceive you. No make everybody go believe you. They pretend like they don't see you, but they really wanna be you. BB Bo, what up for to make that money? Cause BB Bo, what up for to make that money? Cause BB Bo.
GTBank Di Asa no you so am say shake body egusu aton ye de esom we GTBank Di Asa season 5 audition na egusu a ye de esom na sabia ka say de egusu wo sire mentifito epoe mantam na vrongo ana de auditions no e ba be hyehyɛ so na sire medi kan e ka kyɛ mo ne free na vrongo e go paga de sima kakra bi ni senti ana abo ana ba be piem e wo paga na oba paga na nia ahanom so e brono kɛse kuro kɛse wo hanom a sebe omafo di dwa yie papa wa ha na ye ka paga na nia ye wo camps shunku bi e wa noma enkane abakosemu abra na sebe enkwasom wo ma ne de ya nanom eye nkwa ede omu fi omanga na kopiem e wa amanone no na yo slave camp ba ko e wa ha noma ha ne be kra wo mu ansa na ede omu ekọ amanone nti sabre ya eye GTBank Di Asa season 5 auditions ne de somo ne ya adwene se bebi biara be rebia bebi biara tourist attraction wo si etwa ma wo hwe be ye ede ama wo no sa pepe ana sabre de esomo enti no eye Pikworo camp na che slave camp ana ya be piem wo ha noma ye ba be kom na yeni pedifo ahwetwe nkobo na abakosam kakra e wo sa slave camp yi mu no wo mo akyerekyere mu na afempo bebi a no mo deda bebi odi omo faaye ende e kaka ho nyina ye de asomo wei eye GTBank Di Asa season 5 auditions na neguso e de somo back stories no ye twagu gidigidi the embassies meet them creating nyina so hanom kama yenko na afi tour guide wa hanom no e fa yen fem na sede nsabiti nyina wontimi enchechi kama emaye
Ashanti region Beshia Branga Afo Eastern Western Central
So what is your name?
I'm called Joseph Kugoram.
Okay, Joseph, so you said this place is?
The place is called Pikworo Slave Camp.
Okay.
I will just brief you a brief history about the place, how it started, and the place has become a tour site. Okay. The place is called Pikworo Slave Camp. Okay. Pikworo is a name in Kasam, meaning a place surrounded by rocks, as you can see, okay, located in a village called Nania. Okay. Nania means place of cattle. Okay. Yeah, according to history, slave trade began here around 1704 by one notorious slave master who came and settled here, capturing and selling young men and ladies to the white people as slaves. Okay. He was running the business here all alone till it came to a time the business was progressing for him. Okay. And he went for his two friends who were popular in the slavery business. Okay. According to the history, when this man came to settle here in the camp, he was not willing to tell more about himself to the people around him. Okay. And according to the people who were living within the community as of that time, they learned that he was someone who could speak so many local languages.
Our local languages?
Yes, our local languages. Okay. Therefore, it was difficult for them to be determined where he was actually coming from. Okay. And they gave him a name in Kasam, Bagao, meaning a bushman.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the first slave master was given Bagao.
Bagao, okay, in
Kasam,
meaning a bushman. Okay. So this Bagao man came and started the whole thing here, capturing and keeping young men and ladies here in the camp who were physically built as slaves. Okay. Yeah, so as he invited the two friends from Burkina Faso and Mali who came to assist him here in the camp, they were then traveling to near and far-by villages, capturing and dragging forcefully young men and ladies down here, tying them against the trees around to prevent escape. They were being stayed here for a number of weeks before taken to Salaga Slave Market in the northern region. Then from there, or if I may say, Salaga Slave Market, just behind Tamale. Yeah, then from there, they will then proceed to the castle and they were being handed over to the white people as slaves. He was doing this business all here till it came to another time. He was going to some of the chiefs and the elders as civilization was improving, deceiving them because people were coming with a story that he was taking them for ritual or some other purposes. Okay. But he went to, in his own wisdom, he went to these chiefs and elders, deceiving them, telling them that, oh, we are taking them abroad. When we get there, we always give them better jobs, and we hope one day they shall return to the community to help develop the community.
Okay.
That was how he was deceiving the chiefs and the elders.
Okay.
We were having another factors which also led to slavery, but those were minor factors. Some of these include notorious ones who were lawbreakers in the community were taken away by the slave masters. The chiefs, if I may say, the chiefs and the elders of the villages will always permit these slave masters to capture and take them in order to free the community from whatever they were doing or whichever harm they were causing to the community.
Okay.
So that was why these chiefs and elders sometimes give opportunity to these slave masters to capture these young people. But those were minor factors. The major factor was capturing and keeping slaves here forcefully. Then they were being taken away to the foreign land. The various structures which were then used here are the various things we are going to walk around for you to see, which enabled the slaves to stay in the camp with ease.
So, because as we speak now, the only thing I see here is just trees and rocks. So, I want to know how the inhabitants, those who were being kept here, how they were living. I want to see, were they sleeping under some structures? How was it like? So, if you can take us through.
Okay, so what happened here is just like the history we learned in Stone Age. Everything that happened here was made from stone. As I said earlier, the place is called Pikworo, a rocky area. Where they were getting their water from for drinking is out of rock. When we get up there, you will see it. You will see that it's about 6 to 7 feet deep on the rock, where water springs from the rock, from the rock, and they were getting their water from there whenever they needed to drink or prepare their meals from there. Then you also see their dining hall where their bowls were carved out from the rock. And they were eating from the rock. Whenever their food is being prepared, then they were eating from the rock. Moving away from there, we will still see their grinding rock, a traditional grinding rock where they used to do grinding anytime they wanted to grind their grain or maybe their ingredients to prepare food. When we get there, you will see it as well. Then you will see their entertainment place. As they left their families and properties, and they were very sad, these slave masters came in a way in order to motivate them, to keep them stay in the camp with ease. So they discovered 2 rocks on top of this rock, which if you hit any part of them, they give you different sound all together like the traditional drums.
Wow.
So,
on the rock?
On the rock. Okay. Yeah. So after every evening supper, the slaves were always marked to that place to be entertained, to make them forget the emotional stresses they were passing through. Okay. Over there, some kind of donations were given to the drummers, like tobacco, cola nut, hard drinks, and even extra food, so that they will eat, drink, smoke. You know the influence of this alcohol and smoke, so that they can get high and produce better music for the rest of their slaves who were unhappy to dance, sing with them, and get excited once again during their stay in here.
Okay, so if I get you right, then meaning the slaves who were living here, were they being tortured? How was their living like? Because it's like they were eating, they were having fun, they were doing everything. Were they being tortured? How was their living like?
Of course, staying in here, you know, the whole story we learned was the white men came down here to Ghana or to Africa to take our people for labor. So therefore, they needed people who were physically built. Yeah. So as they caught these people and they brought them here in a form of business, just like in animal business, they don't want them to lose weight. Okay. That was why they were feeding them in a way. Okay. But they were not actually feeding well, because the bulls on the dining hall, which they always group the slaves to eat them in bowl, you will see that they were not getting enough food over there. But it's just to earn the living. It was not something for them to eat, get satisfied. Okay. So
they just wanted to keep them moving.
Keep them moving. Okay. And the entertainment was also given to them just to reduce maybe mental problems, so that they can be feeling calm in a way. Okay. And to keep them so that they will feel interested in the camp, they wouldn't feel like running back to their villages. Okay. So that was why the entertainment was also introduced.
I've seen eating and drinking place for slaves.
Yeah, so we are just heading there. Okay. So we are heading there.
All right.
Let's get there.
Okay, let's go there. It's no, I said, you are Abrantia, Church, Muno, not just enye na asemu Aye aboy emre bi abesene ko tete mu honum na bra na nkwasom honum intino.
So right here is the water source which I was just talking about. So seeing this is about 6 to 7 feet deep, and this is designed by nature. It's designed by nature in such a way that the water is coming under from the rock. Whether rainy or dry season, slaves were always getting water from this place to drink and prepare their meals. So they were staying in here. I think this is even one of the most or the paramount reason why the Bagal man chose this place to keep slaves, because we learned during those days we were not shared in countries, and the northern part of Ghana and the southern Burkina Faso was called the Upper Volta. And we, the Upper Voltarians, were those who were physically built, and that was why the camp was located within this particular place. Yeah, and we, the Upper Voltarians, were facing challenge during those days, and even as I speak to you, we are still facing the same challenge, water problem. Because whenever it's dry season, like October going to ending of April, May, we wouldn't experience any rainfall, and the whole rivers will be dry up. Water is always scarce, and this is one of the most paramount reasons why they settle here in the camp, because they could always get water here and feed their slaves.
So the water will be springing up whether rain or shine, whether dry season or wet.
Fetch it out, it replaces itself by nature. So that was it.
So this was their source of water.
Let's get to the dining hall and see what happens.
So this one, if you fall into it, you go under.
You go under, of course.
Hey, Eddie, who told me about you? A boom son.
Okay. You can try with this thing. This is the dining hall where slaves were forced to carve holes on the rock, so that whenever they were going to eat their meals, they will put it inside there. According to the history, the slaves were eating from bowls made from ceramic works, clay works. Yeah, so as they were eating in groups, they usually break the bowls because they will be liking to eat faster. If you're not eating faster, you wouldn't get enough food over here. So they always break the bowls. And in order to make it punishment for them, they made them to carve these holes so that whenever they wanted to eat, they can put it here. So in a form of punishment, they were forced to carve these holes using another stone. It wasn't an easy job at all.
Okay, so in other words, these were their bowls that they were eating in.
Yeah.
Okay, into Sha, naturally, so one chance here, not one didim any, and it's insuo, atabimuno, into no one chance, now her chance here. Chance we know what you mama will say when you ask the way I want a yam dam no. Ediania here and become a bit so. But I can see some a little big, some are small. So everybody had his or her own hole as in bowl, or they were using it, it was intense.
Actually, they were always coming in batches. Okay. So one particular person cannot have your bowl here. Okay. And even if you should be the one who carved the bigger bowl, you are likely not to eat in the bigger bowl, because if they should group you and you are not part of the people who are going to eat from that bowl, that means you are going on a different bowl. Okay. Yeah, so they were grouping them. And if they should group you and you happen to sit on a smaller bowl, you wouldn't say, because I am the one who did the bigger one, I want to eat here. And it doesn't matter whether a bigger bowl or a small bowl. It might be a bigger bowl, but small food inside there.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Inti chance na wa from high. Eh na nanoma bebre. Inti no ode ebo, ode bo ana ebe tubu anim. Inti no utie se de wo kana akwa yete se asaso twen asa punishment bi ana ye de ma se wa tu ebo anim rock nim no fa bu tu chance ewom. Enum na obedidi. Nchance na mudidi ma papa na de a we mu ana obedidi inti chance a ye na nanom abra ye de omo ekwonkwasu mu as de ombe fi omanga na hanom akopiem ewo broni asase so no. En chance no so are we going to the entertainment?
Okay, so this is the place where slaves were doing their grinding whenever they wanted to cook their meals. Okay. I think I told this before in terms of traditional.
Oh yes.
Stone like this is used against this particular rock. They were always grinding. Grind powder from inside there. Then they will be bringing the rock pan here back again, and they will always grind.
Okay.
So this is how grinding was done.
Okay. Hold it for me.
Okay.
So then you bring it into sha. Wa mu obo nko kakra flat wa hanom sana. Ahano na wo de say nyaado na apeso nyamu say ebia ko na apeso nyama wo dudu hanom a ntokro wa hanom e say chance. So ntokro so wa hanom so ay say chance. Enti wo abo mu adu. Enti wo nyam na wo nyam no. Na de eya powder no na eno epia eba begu ntokrom ha no. Na akese ne wo na nyam ye na asa de be chire se de ye fie ye de ebo nyam no na kyesa de nyam ne saa ye nananom ayo nti no ebe begu ha wi anu asesa wade na kyesa wakwakoye waduane se de nwa be ma no echire mu nti no wo mo blender enie blender no ne de akire na ha na omonyam wo mo niema. So we are moving to where?
Okay, we are heading to the entertainment center.
Okay.
Where slaves were always entertaining themselves.
Okay, nti no
Let's get there.
yo nti ye ko bia na emmoso no eye adwuma no bia na emmoso no wo no ye monra ho say mo constituency ba ko wa ye yo yenkwe nti emmo nko mu ne nam emmo mu nko a ne nam
SEWA. Yeah. Sawa. Trawo. Ghana AFL. Ameche. Check your body. That's how I use them. Ghana AFL. Ameche. Check your body. That's how I use them.
Here in the entertainment center. These two rocks you are seeing happen to be the drums. You may see it as ordinary rock, but these are actually musical drums. When you hit any part of these two rocks, they gives you different sound all together. When you hit any part of it, it sounds differently from each other. So over here, whenever the slaves were brought to the camp, as I said, they were always sad because they left behind families and properties, and more in a way, it was just like a journey of no returns. Yeah, so they were very sad. And because of this sadness, the masters gave them this entertainment so that they will always come here, drum, and get excited. Okay. Down there happened to be the dancing floor where those who were not partaking in the drumming were always told to go down there and dance. But over here, 4 drummers were always selected from the slaves who were talented in drumming and singing. Okay. Most especially their cultural music. Come up here, drum, and sing for the rest of their slaves who were unhappy to get excited.
Okay.
And the tradition here was whenever the slaves were called upon to drum, just like the Kasana tradition, they were giving them some kind of donations. Whenever you are drumming and singing, they were presenting donations on the rock for the Kasana slaves or the slaves who were unhappy. And they were told to come and drum so that they would be willing to drum because you were a slave, you were brought here, you were sad, and they still tell you to drum and sing. Mm-hmm. And you know, if you are not excited, sometimes you can't do it. Okay. Yeah, so they were giving them these donations just to boost their morale. Okay. They were giving them tobacco, cola nut, granite, and even extra food, especially those who were not able to feed well and they are talented, and you should happen to come here, then you will get maybe an extra food over here.
Okay, that's good. Intino Usha, a buonini, a buono na way, a fonton from Waha. Bibia be a hanum, Intino Usha. Sound you different. 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 I have different. Different no omo wo nim twene bo no program mo na some de pempem so sa na di creative beat no na omo maka nso egu ase ha na moso constituent no wo mu guase no wo mu edi asasa intino. This was their drum and this was their form of entertainment. This was what they were using to entertain themselves. Okay, so
in order to keep tradition on, this our fathers are always here whenever visitors are around so that they can help our visitors to have clear understanding as to how slaves were using stone to entertain themselves. Because one may be wondering how stone can be used to produce music. So in order to keep tradition on, we always urge visitors to make customary donation, whatever you have. It might be anything of your choice, not necessarily money, but anything you think you have for them to keep the tradition on. You present it on the rock to keep the tradition on. So without wasting so much time, they will give us the music and we'll continue talking later.
Okay. So, you give us the music. Okay. You do that, Amamire.
Ghana
Kana wango besan fan wala kalure pane. Kana wango besan fan wala kalure pane. Kana wango besan fan wala kalure pane. La 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 besan fan wala no.
This is so beautiful. Into said no one yano and I papa nom aye ediache to na kodi to.
Okay, so I think that was it and that is it.
Okay.
So that was how they were always entertaining themselves. Okay. And they were doing this tribe after tribe because the slaves were caught from different places and for that matter they speak different languages. So they were doing this tribe after tribe. So whenever this tribe is done, another tribe will take over, also select their drummers, and they will come and drum. So that was how they were always entertaining themselves here.
Thank you so much. Intino and no slave camp no ewo eye paga natchez and nanya. I oshe yen yabema be the legend that Hayan will free. The fear which Hayan will free. And maybe I besne kwa hanana and kwano sabe. Yepa pania ma menem near Chiomwa near Domobahanum. Ebe Chiomushahaka cran sunny Domaha Copium. Was Remantum ye quatermalin Chanwaka cran and sana. Ye Domaha Copium ewo James Fort no Shafort in him honum ponano. Na ye piomo egu a yeship musubontum ye Domaha Copium ewo broni and sasses so among Quajuman woman aquaye. Ain't a camp bakwa na ye diomo eba ebeguhanum. Ain't a Pikworo a year chess a camp, slave camp, and a net yaba. A GTBank Di Asa season 5 auditions, the Guso de Somoa. A tourist sites a would drop be a fair corner was so shan. I can't just say, yeah, you any aim from a tenka TV so pay, and I'll be who signed my way into the embosses and was saw him, mammy Jim, me baby boy, Amate Ekra, come on, mammy Daniel, and so agent share social media and washer, Amabia Akonkai. Kofiana ni age them, our Hanumana because a Shamshud international driver, what Diaba, Yankasanka say, offer, a year chess a quadrado with the chiggy diggy Sansuna, international mate, age Quante asante papa enso etaichira eyeche se ayi efene se miakasa mini abema edi an camera wono so etaichi kama crewni nyina wa hanoma ene ye nemu a ye de esom ntwei eye GTBank Di Asa season 5 auditions na neguso a ye de esom na vrongo ane ba ya yate sipaga a ye de esom ntino sementi fido epuema ntam de akoso ha bi ana ye de asom no yenkwa anim de aka bia no ye de besom mo GTBank Di Asa o si Shegbody me da say